Hello and happy Monday. Welcome into this edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Tevin Wooten.
And I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins. It was a nice day today going in through the afternoon. Not really this morning,
yeah.
though.
Woke up this morning, had some rain showers. I almost felt like staying in bed and watching Netflix and chill. But instead, it was midterms and chill because let's face it, a lot of us have midterms this time of year.
Right here.
Same over here. I've got one on Friday. So I decided it wasn't the best time to miss class. And I think luckily, I did get out of bed and come to class because it made way for a great afternoon.
Yeah, it was a wonderful afternoon. I went for a nice run and it felt really nice. So.
Yeah, I kind of had a cold front come through last night, one of the first of several to come this week, and I think that's a welcome change. We're finally starting to get in the kick of fall here, and if not the leaves starting to fall on the ground now, also the cooler temperatures and the football, whether we win or lose over the weekend, but still a great time to be had by everyone and get everyone in the feel of fall.
Yeah, we're going to feel a nice cool down going on through the rest of the week, so that should be a nice ending to the summer in a way.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a good thing we're able to put a dent in the rain gauge because we are getting into that season where we're going to see a few less showers at some point in time. So it's best we go ahead and get the rainfall in now, especially when it wasn't as severe as it could have been with a cold front.
Yeah, the cold front wasn't that bad, but so we're going to go into the weather for today, and as we take a look at the overview that Charlie's going to give us right now.
Thank you, Jennifer and Tevin. Looking at Tallahassee International Airport, we see current conditions 83 degrees with partly cloudy skies. That is soon to change, though. You see that dew point 46%. Just about an hour ago, that was 53%. So we see that humidity already dropping with the winds now out of the west at 12 miles per hour. See that relative humidity, we see 46% in Tallahassee, a little closer to the coast in St. Mark's, we see 50. A little further east, we see 72 in Valdosta at 87%. So they're still sitting with that front that we had earlier this morning that brought us all those showers. Here are the winds. This really defines where you see the front. You see Tallahassee winds out of the west at 12 miles an hour. St. Mark's a little further out of the south. Perry even further out of the south at 9, and Valdosta a little calmer winds, but also out of that same direction. Looking at the weather's headlines for today, we see cold front brushed through earlier this morning. That's what brought all those rain showers early this morning. It is going to start cooling down, and we will see temperatures possibly into the 50s tomorrow morning, and possibly even lower on Wednesday morning, which would mean that cool air is here to stay. But for now, we're going to send it back to Jennifer and Margaret at the desk.
Thanks, Charlie. Talking about that cold front, depending on which part of my walk to classes this morning you're talking about, I'd say it was a little bit more than scattered showers.
Oh my gosh, it seemed like a nice downpour for almost the entire morning.
Certain parts of it, yeah. And this year's not the only year that's seen a cold front passing through on this date. We're going to do some weather history now.
Yeah, so in 1987, 13 cities in the southeast experienced the record low temperatures due to a cold front that came through on this date today, October 23rd.
And a couple cities had not quite record lows, but very close to record lows, places in South Carolina, as well as Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, they saw a lot of lows that brought showers and thunderstorms with this cold front that came through. Corpus Christi, Texas actually had 5 inches of rain recorded on this day, so that's a lot of rain.
Yep, and all that was all the way back 1987. And also in the 80s, Denver had its first freeze of the autumn on this date in 1988. So more cold days, and Chicago, Illinois, their first snowfall on this date in 1988. I haven't seen snow here in a while. Getting any snowfall here is quite an accomplishment.
No, and a nice cool down. But as we go on to the local with Sydney, she's going to give us a nice full forecast for Tallahassee.
Thanks, guys. Now, I don't know about you, but I know on my way to class today, I got drenched, but that moisture is going to be leaving us into the rest of the week, and we will have some dry conditions to come. As for today, our high of 86 and a low of 68. These are both way above average, our average of 80 and 55. And look at that, we were closer to our record high than our average. And as far as our record low, we were nowhere near that. Thankfully, we did not go anywhere near being below freezing. So looking at our current conditions, temperatures across the board, high 70s into the low 80s. Now, 83 in Monticello and Tallahassee, and 79 in Quincy and Bainbridge and Mariana. So Looking into our satellite, we will notice this line of storms making its way east. So as it makes its way east, in comes the dry air behind the front. So what's behind this front is now making its way into the Tallahassee region, because as these storms make their way out, that moisture is going to be taken out with them. So the dry conditions are going to be here to stay. As for our rainfall, this was just this morning, since midnight, but this morning is really when it came down. Tallahassee seeing above 1/4 inch, Valdosta over 1/2 inch, and over there in Panama City to our west, 3/4 inch over there. So it really did come down in buckets on us today. But look at this dry air changing things up from that rain that we saw today. And this dry air will be pushing through and will be here to stay, making everything seem so much more like fall. Now into tonight's forecast, 59 degrees, cool evening, and those skies will be clearing out. So we are used to more cloud cover, keeping our nights slightly warmer. And tonight, that radiation will go right out through the non-existent clouds that we will be seeing, with that light wind northwest at 5 miles per hour. Now look at this, the low on Wednesday, 45, accompanied by a high of 68. So 68 was the average for today, and hopefully tomorrow we will be meeting the average for tomorrow as well. Now Thursday, 72, accompanied by that 43-degree temperature in the morning. So 43 is the coolest that we're going to be seeing throughout the next 5 days. And Saturday, those rain chances will be coming back into the picture, with those temperatures heating up just a little bit. But Tevin, what's going on in the southeast?
Well, Sydney, I'll tell you what's going on in the southeast, much like what's going on here in Tallahassee. We're going to start to see a cool down, a welcomed cool down, not only for us here in North Florida, but also for places like New Orleans, all the way to Georgia, and even, yes, the Carolinas, too. Let's take a look at the current conditions right now. You'll see Huntsville, Alabama, already seeing some cool temperatures in the Rocket 60 at 61 degrees, Central Alabama at 68. Look at my capital city of Little Rock, or my home state of Arkansas, the capital city there, is 74 degrees. North of Louisiana at 78 in Shreveport, and 72 for Jackson, Mississippi. Take a look at this. This is the 24-hour temperature change. So yesterday at this time, Montgomery, you were 14 degrees cooler. You are 14 degrees cooler than you were this time yesterday. New Orleans, 9 degrees cooler now than this time yesterday. Little Rock, about 2 degrees cooler. That's because of the frontal passage actually occurring at a later, or at an earlier time. So they've had time to sort of rebound and bring their temperatures back closer to where we are today. But I can tell you there is another cool blast of air on the way. Stick around for it. If you liked yesterday and some of last week, you'll really like what we have to show you for later on this week. Current dew points right now in Tallahassee, we're looking at dew points in about the 60-degree range. Once we get the dew point and the temperature close together, that's when we start to see air starting to condense, or so we like to call it rainfall or some fog, depending on what time of day it is and the type of precipitation, with the cloud level and all of the different meteorology aspects that we take into account. Elsewhere, though, the main picture here is, look how much drier that air mass is going to be for us west of this front. Montgomery dew points are at 51. Tupelo dew points are at 39, and so are Shreveport's dew points, Little Rock's dew points at about 45 degrees. So the satellite in radar showing you this front that stretches all the way from Kentucky down to the Carolinas, Georgia, and into North Florida. Not really seeing much passage down here towards Orlando, maybe some cloud coverage and some rain right now. But again, we will have another frontal passage that is expected to make its way through here later on this week. Here's a water vapor imagery we can show you about 15 to 25,000 feet above. So this orange area, that's the drier air that's on the way. The green is what we just got rid of today and what we're going to keep getting rid of for the rest of the Big Bend and North Florida. Current winds right now showing you that Montgomery has winds coming from the northwest at about 13 miles an hour. On the other side of that front, Tallahassee, winds coming from the west at about 12 miles an hour. But look, on the southern edge of the front and ahead of the front, winds coming out of the south and east, 12 miles an hour for Orlando, Florida, and 9 for Miami. So as we take a look at Futurecast radar and we put this into motion, you can see that the front sort of continues to push out into the Atlantic, maybe a few lingering showers behind it. But overall, we do start to cool down. And with that, let's go ahead and send things back to the desk with student meteorologist Charlie Bowen and Mark Collins.
That's right. Thank you, Tevin. So we're going to take a look. We were talking about this cold front pretty much the whole show, and that's what we're going to continue talking
It really is the big story, and you may not be noticing it quite yet because it warmed up this afternoon after the showers passed. But you're going to notice it tomorrow morning and the next couple of mornings, the temperature change due to the cold front.
That's right. We haven't really noticed it too much. We saw it a little bit with that rain bringing in the colder temperatures a little bit.
Yep,
But like you said, tomorrow morning is going to be quite the morning.
Yep, we've got our forecasts dipping down in towards the 40s, and for this time of the year, places in Florida and the deep south, the temperature drop after a cold front can be something around 5 to 10 degrees. We did see some places on that 24-hour temperature change graphic that Tevin had that had even greater temperature drops, but I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, right. And how's that compared to anything out of the, say the Northwest?
When you get up to places more towards the Midwest, the Northeast, then during the fall, that temperature drop can then be 10 to 15 degrees or greater if it's a very strong front.
And I'm assuming here around Florida, we're surrounded by water pretty much everywhere. We don't get the temperature change, but we get that weather that's associated with those
Yeah,
fronts.
especially the Florida Peninsula. You don't see as much of the temperature change between being surrounded by the water and having all those lakes around. So they do sort of moderate the temperature, but you do still see the rain there.
Yeah, and that's what we got today. That's what a lot of the rest of the state's going to getting now and tomorrow. But those little rain clouds, they eventually are signs of colder weather to come.
Colder weather to come, and for those of us who like winter, welcome colder weather. And now we're going to send things out to the wall with Jennifer for another local look.
Yeah, as we take a look at what happened yesterday, we saw clear skies going into the midday and afternoon hours. But as we get on towards last night, clouds started to pick up as this cold front was approaching, and overnight we got a little bit of downpour. We got a lot of a downpour going from into this morning. So currently right now in Tallahassee, it's 83 degrees with partly cloudy skies. The dew point's at 60 degrees, so the closer that dew point gets to the temperature, that humidity is going to represent that. 46% is the humidity right now, so it feels actually pretty nice outside of this cold front that came through, and our wind's staying at 12 miles per hour from the west. Current temperatures across the Big Bend region, 82 degrees here in Tallahassee, 79 as we get more towards the coast in Carabel, and 81 in Perry, more towards the west. But overall, temperatures right now are pretty warm, but it feels nice because the humidity is down because of these dew points. The darker green colors represent a higher dew point, while the lighter colors represent a lower dew point. And the humidity is reflected in this because it's going to feel a lot more humid as we get along towards the east because of this cold front that came through that brought us some showers. As we take a look at the future cast for the dew points, these dew points are going to start to drop, which means our humidity is going to start to drop as we go into tomorrow. And along with that, colder temperatures. So it's going to feel pretty nice as we get into tomorrow. And as we take a look at the satellite radar, showers clearing out of our area, which is leaving just clear skies behind it. So it's definitely going to feel nice for the next couple of days. Tonight's forecast, 59 degrees. It's going to be a cool evening. Expect clear skies with the humidity not there, so we won't really see a lot of clouds for our area, along with that northwest wind that shifted last night at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow's forecast, 77 degrees. It's going to feel very nice, especially with this cold front that came through. We're going to see a lot more drier conditions along with this, definitely cool air, so it's going to feel very nice, especially if you're walking across campus. You'll definitely feel that humidity is down. You're going to feel the cool temperatures, and it's going to feel like a pretty nice day in Tallahassee for tomorrow, along with that northwest wind at 5 miles per hour. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, expect temperatures to dip in the morning hours of Wednesday and Thursday. 45 degrees for Wednesday, 43 degrees for Thursday. So temperatures are going to start to dip as we get more towards the end of the week. 72 is your forecasted high for Thursday. And temperatures are going to start to pick back up by the time we get into the weekend. 77 degrees for Friday. Saturday and Sunday, we could see rain chances start to increase. 76 degrees is your high for Saturday. 64 degrees is your high for Sunday. So with that, we're going to take a look at the entire national with Margaret right now.
Thanks, Jennifer. As we zoom things out to the current conditions across the country, Tallahassee warmed up nicely after the rain this morning. We're up to 83 degrees. Miami's all the way up to 84. But you can really see on this map where the front has taken full impact. Northern Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, getting into those greens where you're getting into the cooler temperatures, into the 60s and even the 50s. You can see even getting up towards the Great Lakes, some darker greens getting closer into those 50s there. And where the front's still trying to get through, places like Washington, D.C., those clouds really building in there. So the satellite and radar, I'm going to turn around here. Here's the front. It passed through the Florida Panhandle earlier this morning, and you can really see all the storms out ahead of it, as well as the spin on the low pressure system that the front is associated with. And behind it, if you look at the clouds carefully, there's actually another low pressure system and front just behind it over the northern plains states. So we're going to want to watch this over the next couple of days because this could be having an impact on our weather the next couple of days. Now behind the front, the really big impacts behind the front, for those of you that can go either way on temperatures but just hate muggy weather, the dew points drop dramatically. Dew points in the 70s for the Florida Peninsula. Behind the front though, dew points in the 40s. Take a look, 46-degree dew point in New Orleans. That's coming our way overnight tonight and into tomorrow. We're not going to quite get down to those 23-degree dew points, but you can expect some cooler dew points over the next couple 24, 36 hours to be filtering in, and drier air aloft too. So expect plenty of sun and clear skies with that drier air aloft also filtering in. That's also filtering in, and you've already been seeing our skies clearing. Now I'm going to step off here for a moment for the watches and warnings. These brown boxes over places like Arkansas, those are the lake wind advisories. Those are also across much of the Great Plains states where you've got a lot of the wind kicking up with the front. But now I'm going to step back on here actually because we want to talk about in the Carolinas, you've got severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings, the yellow, and there's red behind it. I promise it's just the way that the graphic system displays the colors. And the little red box here is a tornado warning out there, so it is a situation to be careful of and be aware of for anyone who's got travel plans, especially airplanes, business trips going off to the northeast, because there is a lot of severe weather up there. The 24-hour temperature change is dramatic behind this front. Chicago is 23 degrees colder than it was this time yesterday, so all these places in blue and even into the purples have seen the frontal passage and are really feeling the difference there. But now as we move into tonight's forecast, cooling off into the 50s, 40s for places like Atlanta and Memphis, right around that borderline there. So much cooler temperatures behind the front. And tomorrow, the high for Tallahassee only in the 70s and places north even cooler in the 60s. Guys at the desk, how do you feel about that?
I am so excited for these highs to be going a lot lower. And I don't know about you, Charlie, but I really like the cooler weather that's coming.
Yeah, I can't complain. Anytime that I can, like I said a couple days ago, anytime I can open the windows, turn the AC off, and sleep without sweating, it's great for me. Fine.
Yeah, one thing I did notice, though, with the rain that comes in with the front is as I'm driving on the road, a lot of people are forgetting to put their headlights on. So the rule of thumb with the headlights should be the second your windshield wipers go on, your headlights should go on as well.
Actually, I don't even think that's just a rule of thumb. I'm pretty sure that's the law.
Yeah, that is the law. I just was trying to say it nicely. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see more people driving safely and in the rain, slowing down and utilizing the road space that they have, so not getting too close to the other cars on the road.
That's right. It's going to take you a little bit longer to stop in wetter conditions, so you want to plan ahead for that. But also, you got to keep in mind the maintenance of your tires. You know, if you start getting low on tread, your danger for hydroplaning actually increases exponentially.
Yes, yeah, it does. So, Charlie, you have a look at the southeast coming for us.
That's right. Current conditions throughout the state, you can see Tallahassee still cloudy, 83 degrees. As you go further south, we start to see a little bit more moisture and a little bit more rain and a little warmer temperatures. You see Miami all the way down a little further south, 84, West Palm 82. Those temperatures are going to continue to decrease throughout the night, and they're going to start getting some heavier rainfall as this front passes through the state. Looking at the radar, we can see this front, we see this strong westerly flow. We see Tampa getting hammered earlier today, as well as Orlando, combined with that frontal passage, as well as that sea breeze brought in from the Gulf Coast. So we see that rain right around the 3 o'clock area, all cut across all the way from Tampa all the way across to Melbourne. Here's the water vapor chart for the upper level. We can see this dry air right behind the front over towards me on this side as I stand over here in the teal and Dolphins color orange. that would be the dry air. So then a little bit further south of the front, we see all that moisture. We see Tampa getting hit hard, Orlando getting hit hard. Fort Myers is going to get some rain later tonight, as well as Jacksonville. Jacksonville's getting that moisture that we got this morning, and they're going to start to see that drier, cooler air move in a little bit closer to the morning. Looking at the 24-hour temperature change, Tampa 8 degrees cooler from yesterday at this time. Tallahassee, we're only 1 degree cooler, but we're going to start to see those numbers closer to Pensacola's number 8, -8 degrees cooler than yesterday at this time. Current winds, we can see these the winds strongly out of the west for Tallahassee. Pensacola, they're strongly out of the north-northwest. We're going to start to see that as this front further progresses and we get those colder temperatures from tomorrow. See the front line up. Orlando is still out of the southeast, and Fort Myers, Miami, there's still wind blowing in, getting that moisture in from the Atlantic coast. They're going to get hit with some heavy rain later on tonight as well. Tonight's forecast, we see getting down to 54 degrees in Tallahassee. Pensacola is similar at 54. Jacksonville, they're going to get 62 degrees, and we see the rest of the state slowly start to cool down into tomorrow, where we see 77 calm and clear in Tallahassee. Tampa 83, Orlando 84, they're going to get that rain, and we see those temperatures increase for the rest of the week. But right now, we're going to take it off to Jennifer and Margaret at the desk.
Thanks, Charlie. The other aspect of cold fronts that we're going to talk about now is how the winds shift after a front.
Yeah, so the winds typically are coming from one angle. Most of the time in the United States, the cold front's coming from the west to the east. So you mostly see an east wind before a cold front, and then after a cold front, it changes to a west wind.
Yeah, a west or a northwest wind. And with that wind coming from the west to the northwest, anywhere going off in that direction is pretty much further inland where you see colder temperatures for locations in the U.S. So that means that you've got cold air being blown straight at you.
Yeah, cold air being blown behind the cold front, while warm air is being pushed away in front of it. And with the area that you'll see the convergence, you'll see typically thunderstorms popping up within that area.
Yeah, because those winds in front of the front, before it passes, those are coming from the east. And so you've got these two areas of winds meeting, and that really helps to fuel storms.
Yeah, it brings a lot of lift into the storm.
And that's why we see severe weather, like I was talking about in the National and the Carolinas, where they've got the severe thunderstorm watches out for pretty much the entirety of both of the Carolinas.
Yeah, because they're seeing such great temperature differences with it. They're seeing a lot of convergence with these storms and a lot of thunderstorm actions with that.
So it really is something cool to see. And as meteorology majors, we love to even just watch how the winds change, even when the front passes without severe weather. So like today, we've been watching the winds change on our maps for our local weather just to see the front passing, and I'm excitedly looking for when we start seeing the cooler temperatures.
Yeah, it's definitely going to feel a lot nicer, and Tevin's going to give us our final outlook of the local weather for here in Tallahassee.
Thanks, ladies. It will feel a lot nicer as early as tomorrow, and actually maybe even overnight tonight if you're out extremely late at night. Not feeling too bad right now either, with temperatures in the lower 80s. Coastal areas of Leon County and southward near Apalachicola, we're at about 84 degrees. But inland here in Tallahassee, already starting to cool down at 83 with dew points at about 60 degrees. Humidity levels at 46%. So yes, we are starting to feel some of that drier air kick in. Elsewhere around North Florida, Gainesville, Gator territory, they're at 76. Jacksonville is at 78 and cloudy right now. Valdosta also at 78 and cloudy, but look who's cooling down. Pensacola sunny and 75 there, and Panama City right at about 77 degrees. As we take a look at the 24-hour temperature change, we can tell that the front is doing a little bit of work here in North Florida, where Pensacola cooled down about 8 degrees since this time yesterday. But look in Montgomery, Alabama, 14 degrees cooler, and Meridian also at about 11 degrees cooler. So the front is coming. The front has already passed, but the cooler temperatures are starting to come. And I just talked about the frontal passage. Here it is for you. You can see it's already starting to kick out of the way. Dry skies out there. Not much rain even expected in the forecast tonight. Maybe an isolated shower or two, but nothing extreme. Over the past day or so, we've had about 3/10 of an inch of rainfall in Tallahassee. But look at St. Mark's, an inch and almost a quarter of rainfall, just a little bit more than that. Maybe that's what happens when you get those isolated downpours with this front. It can dump a little bit more rainfall in some spots. And we're not even saying this is the most. We could have had another area just without a rain gauge even pick up a little bit more or less. relative humidity levels from this front showing you that St. Mark's is at about 50% humidity. Tallahassee cooling down, again, drying out at 46% humidity. You can see sort of the green shades here. There's a light hint of orange through here, especially south and west of Mariana. That's where we're going to start to see some things dry out over the next day or so, too. And I can tell you that the dry air is here to stay almost until the end of the week. Current winds right now out of the southwest for St. Mark's and Carabel at about 4 to 5 miles an hour. But as we take a look a little bit north of that, that's where the front has already started to pass. The winds come from the north and west at about 8 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight's forecast, a cool, clear sky tonight with winds from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. We will see temperatures in the upper 50s, maybe even near the mid-50s. Tomorrow in Tallahassee on a Tuesday, it feels fantastic. 77 degrees, dry air behind the front, and cooler air too. Take note of that with winds coming from the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Here's your 7-day forecast. A dry spell really to last us throughout the entire week. Look at that. Another front does start to come through, moving us down into, Charlie, look at that. 43 degrees on Thursday night and then 47 on Friday. So if you're going to be out really late at night Thursday and Friday, and even some parts of your Saturday, you're definitely going to want to carry the light jacket. If you're up early in the morning, you'll also need that light jacket to get you to class if you have those 8 a.m. classes, which a lot of people do, and especially with midterms coming up, you can't really miss class right now.
That's right. You got to get to campus early, right? You see those cold temperatures, a little bit of rain later on the weekend. We've been praying for these cold temperatures. We finally got them. Now we got to take the little bit of rain that comes with it.
Take the little bit of rain and take a lot of bit of cold. For North Florida here at 44, it's definitely cold, and 42, certainly.
Looking forward to 44 degrees. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
You know, last week we had a hint of it, but it was the upper 40s, lower 50s. So this week we're going to be well below our average of 50 degrees, almost by about 10 degrees in some spots. Now, I would be really impressed if someone got to the upper 30s.
That would be fun to see.
We're gonna
get that nice dry, that nice
frost-like
cool.
conditions.
That's right, and still stay above those freezing temps, so you don't got to worry about bringing your plants inside. But that's months away for us.
Oh yeah, well, months away, and then even when it does get here, it's short-lived.
That's right, very short-lived.
Very short-lived. Here's the 7-day again, just in case you missed it. Dry conditions Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday is high at about 68 degrees and cooling down to 45 overnight. So it will be cold, especially Wednesday into Thursday. A few spotty rain chances on the weekend, so not that bad.
That's right. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather. I believe we have a Facebook as well.
We do have a Facebook, FSU Weather. We've also got an Instagram as well. Guess what it is? FSU Weather on YouTube, and you can watch that live. If you're not watching it live, let your friends know. And follow us on Instagram. Be sure to tag us in any weather photos you get. Obviously, if it's severe weather, do that with caution. Your safety is the utmost priority. But then, share your weather. We like to see what you're looking at.
Absolutely, Tevin. Well, for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Charlie Bowen.
And I'm student meteorologist Tevin Wooten. Happy Monday. We'll see you right back here Tuesday, same time, same place at 6 p.m.
Have a good one.